Hello, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And this is going to be a combination video of tutorial plus relaxing ASMR featuring the sounds of painting. I hope you will enjoy it. Please let me know in the comments. Here are the basic materials I'll be using, and if you'd like to skip this, the timestamp will be down below in the description box. I use a combination of different brand paints, the Liquitex Studio Basic brand and Sargent acrylic paints. I'm black and white, yellow, orange, red, purple, blue, green. And I just showed you a spray mister. Those are optional. The gloves, a palette, and it could be different kinds of palette. If you could just use a paper plate. A jar of water, and it's important just to keep the water clean periodically. Paper towels, and the brushes I'll be using. I give the brushes in inches because if I just say number 10 brush or something like that, every company has their own sizes. So you could use canvas paper, you could use a canvas panel, and you could use stretched canvas, which I don't have an example to show you there. Stretched canvas is another option. Today I have taped down canvas paper to a board. And I wet my brush first and tap out the extra, so just my brush will be moist but not sopping wet. Spraying the surface so that the paints will blend easier. And load up your brush very well, going back and forth like that, front and back of the brush, making sure to get enough paint on the brush. And you do not need to make completely straight horizontal lines. In fact, this sunset, the colors are going to be a little bit on an angle. Now I'm overlapping the purple right into the blue because I want the purple and blue to mix together to make a blue-violet. And then so it will transition from blue to blue-violet to purple. I didn't even clean my brush. Again, overlapping now the red into the purple, which creates a red-violet. So it will transition from blue to blue-violet to red-violet, and then from red-violet to red. After washing the brush, always tap it. Just tap it a little bit onto the paper towel. Again, the idea of blending is overlapping the color over top of the previous color, going back, making passes back and forth several times to really get a good mixing of the two colors together. And this first layer will be a thin layer because of the water that I had sprayed on, making the paints very thin. I will be going over a second layer to make the paint thicker. This time I started with the yellow first before mixing it into the orange because I didn't want to dirty up the yellow with orange at first. So I started with yellow and then I'll move up into the orange to blend it. So that's important to remember with it when using this lighter color. Lay down the yellow first and then blend it up into the orange. At this point, you probably should change your water. If you can see my water is a bit dirty, I should have changed my water by now, but it's not too critical. Now I'm going back with a second layer, and this will be thicker since less water will be involved. Right there, I'm just blending it more passes back and forth, just create more blending between the colors. I'm switching to a 1/2 inch pointed round brush and making streaks of colors. To me, that makes it more looking like a more natural sunset. Streaks of orange first in the red. I don't put streaks of orange just everywhere because blue and orange will create a muddy brown color. So the streaks of orange were just laid into the red area. Here, the red, streaks of red, are painted into the purple. And some streaks of red can be painted into the blue also. Those colors are compatible. And now streaks of purple can be laid into the blue. But you would not want to put streaks of purple into the orange while it's still wet. Definitely not while it's still wet. The two colors would mix together and create a muddy brown. Now streaks of yellow into the orange. Okay, I'm going to use the white paint first, and I'm measuring out just informally with my fingers the canvas into thirds, and just poured the white paint directly on it. This is going to be the snow, and it's going to be the bottom third of the painting. And I did dry this before. If you have a heat drying tool like a hair dryer is a very good thing. Don't paint on the snow until you've dried your painting. Just making sure that I've painted the bottom third. Now I'm going to just use a little black. Black is very powerful. So into the white, I mixed on the palette just a dot of black into the white to mix a very light gray. Just a dot of black there you see mixing into the white. Black is very powerful. And I'm not painting all of the snow gray. I'm only painting on the two sides, the left side and the right side, because these will be the shadows underneath the trees. And again, I'm using the 1/2 inch, or it could be the 1/4 inch pointed round brush. And I mixed yellow with white because yellow by itself is too transparent. So you do need to add some white, mix white with the yellow so that it will be a more opaque yellow for half of the sun showing over the horizon. And now some of the color gets reflected onto the snow. First I painted some yellow, now I'm going in with a little red, and the red, because it's wet, this is painting wet on wet, the red naturally creates an orange. So it's good to keep it streaky, just so that we see a bunch of different colors in this reflection. Some reds, oranges, and yellows. Back to the 1/2 inch pointed round. And here you could, I used black, but you could just, it's actually better probably to use the green. And start at the top, like an arrow, like pointed, and then it's feathered out to the sides. And that's the nice thing about using the pointed round brush. The pointed brush really helps you create the feathery sides. Down, so they're curved down and out, curving a little bit down and then to the side, curved out. And it doesn't matter that the black line is going to show, that's not going to show. These trees will be covered with snow. Filling in the empty spaces there in the tree. Going over with a second layer makes it thicker and more opaque. At the bottom of the tree, no tree trunk will be showing. Just paint green all the way across, a little bit curved. Okay, here I painted the line with green because I didn't like how that black was showing through, even though in the end that black on the other tree won't show. That black line will not show through because these trees will be covered mostly with snow. Now I'm making the shadow a little bit darker gray. Following the angle of a hill. For me, my picture kind of has two slopes on either side. It's not level ground straight across. especially the one on the right is more of a slope on a hill. Okay, now a really fun part is painting on the snow. Be sure to paint in the middle like this. In the middle, the trees collect a lot of snow in the middle like that. So you want paint strokes in the middle and the center like that. And then I will do the sides. Again, using the pointy round brush really helps with the pointiness needed for the ends of the tree branches. You want some green still showing through. Again, painting that gray shadow darker. It's up to you how dark you would like to paint that gray shadow. I'd say like a light medium gray, and then I'm blending that out with my fingers. The one on the right I think is a very nice light medium gray. Oh, here the fan brush is going to be used, and I'm making very watery white. Add a lot of water to the white because now I'm going to spatter on snow. If you're having trouble making the snow like this, just make sure your paint, your white paint is watery enough. And keep it moving. Don't hold your brush in one place and keep tapping. You'll end up with a clump. It's better just keep the paintbrush moving while you're tapping. And now back with a little pointed, the 1/2 inch pointed round brush, or you could use the 1/4 inch pointed round brush just for making some of the snowflakes with bigger dots. And right here I'm showing a close-up of right where the sunset is. I painted a line, a white line on the top of the hill to separate the sun from the snow. I needed that white line. I'm showing a close-up, and now it's close-up of the finished painting. I really hope you'll enjoy painting this. I'm going to love hearing from you guys.